Imagine a man in a white doctor's coat standing at the entrance of the most horrific place on earth. He is not panicking. He is not trembling. He is smiling. He waves his hand, left, right, and with each flick of his finger, hundreds of people walk toward their death. And the ones he keeps alive, they wish they hadn't been. This man was not a monster from a fairy tale. He was real. He had a medical degree. He had a family. He loved opera. He called himself a scientist. His name was Josef Mengele, and history would remember him as the Angel of Death. But here's the part that should disturb you even more than his crimes. When the war ended, when the Nazis fell, when the world started hunting down every single war criminal it could find, Josef Mengele walked free. He ate breakfast, he read newspapers, he lived a quiet, comfortable life for over 30 years while the world searched for him. Today, we are going to tell you the full story, how he rose, what he did inside Auschwitz, and how one of history's most wanted criminals simply disappeared. Josef Mengele was born on March 16, 1911, in Günzburg, a small town in Bavaria, Germany. From the outside, he looked like a perfect success story. He was handsome, well-dressed, and highly educated. He earned not one, but 2 doctoral degrees, one in anthropology and one in medicine. His professors described him as disciplined, brilliant, and ambitious. But beneath the surface, something else was growing. In the 1930s, Germany was changing rapidly. Adolf Hitler had risen to power. The Nazi ideology, which promoted the idea of a master race, was spreading like a disease across the country, and Mengele believed in it completely. He joined the Nazi Party in 1937, then the SS, the feared paramilitary organization responsible for running the concentration camps. He was young, eager, and hungry for power. He served on the Eastern Front during World War II and was even wounded in battle. He received medals for his bravery. But it was in May 1943 when he was transferred to Auschwitz-Birkenau concentration camp in occupied Poland that Josef Mengele's name would become permanently stained in the darkest ink of history.
Auschwitz-Birkenau was not just a prison, it was an industrialized killing machine. Over 1.1 million people, the vast majority of them Jewish, were murdered there. And Josef Mengele was right at the center of it. Every day, trains would arrive from across occupied Europe. Thousands of people, men, women, children, the elderly, would be forced off the cattle cars, exhausted, terrified, and confused. And there, on the platform, stood Mengele, immaculately dressed, white gloves, a riding crop in his hand, sometimes whistling a tune. He was one of the SS doctors assigned to conduct what was known as selections. With a simple gesture, a point to the left, to the right, he decided who would live as a slave laborer and who would be sent immediately to the gas chambers. Historians estimate he personally oversaw the selection of over 400,000 people. But the selections were not even his worst crime. Mengele had a twisted obsession. He wanted to conduct scientific experiments on human beings, and inside Auschwitz, there were no laws to stop him. He had a particular fascination with twins. Whenever twin children arrived at the camp, he would pull them aside personally, sometimes with sweets and kind words, pretending to be their friend. These children were called Mengele's children, and what followed was anything but kindness. He injected dyes into their eyes, trying to change their color, leaving many blind. He performed surgeries without anesthesia. He sewed twins together, trying to create artificial conjoined twins. He infected children with diseases to study how they spread. He removed organs, sometimes from living people. His research had no real scientific value. It was pure sadism dressed up in a lab coat. Survivors, those rare, extraordinary few who lived through it, described him as charming one moment and completely heartless the next, a man who could hum Mozart while signing death warrants. One survivor, Eva Kor, who was experimented on as a child twin, said he looked at them like they were nothing more than laboratory mice. By the time the war ended in 1945, Mengele's experiments had claimed hundreds of lives. He had committed crimes so severe that even within the Nazi hierarchy, some considered him extreme.
On January 27, 1945, Soviet forces liberated Auschwitz. The world was beginning to discover the full scale of the Holocaust. The Nuremberg trials were launched to prosecute Nazi war criminals. The names of the most notorious perpetrators were being gathered. And Josef Mengele? He was right there on the list. But here is where the story takes a turn that still haunts historians today. In the chaos of the war's final days, Mengele slipped away from Auschwitz before the Soviets arrived. He was briefly captured by American forces, but here's the shocking part. They didn't know who he was. He was holding false identity papers. He gave a fake name, and the Americans, overwhelmed with thousands of German POWs, released him. Josef Mengele walked right out of American custody and into hiding. For the next few years, he lived under assumed identities in Germany and Austria, moving between farms, staying with sympathizers, completely off the radar. Then, in 1949, with the help of a network of Nazi sympathizers known as ODESSA, the organization of former SS members, he obtained a Red Cross passport under the fake name Helmut Gregor and boarded a ship to Argentina. At this time, Argentina, under President Juan Perón, was secretly welcoming former Nazis. Mengele arrived in Buenos Aires and lived openly, even using his real name at times, for nearly a decade. While Mengele was living comfortably in South America, the world had not forgotten him. Israel's Mossad, one of the most feared intelligence agencies in the world, had made capturing Nazi war criminals a national priority. In 1960, they successfully captured Adolf Eichmann, another senior Nazi, right in Buenos Aires, and brought him to trial in Israel. The operation sent shockwaves through the Nazi exile community in South America, including Josef Mengele. Terrified of being caught, Mengele fled Argentina and moved to Paraguay, then eventually to Brazil. He lived under the protection of a German farming family named the Stammers, working on their farm and living under yet another false name, Wolfgang Gerhard. Meanwhile, the legendary Nazi hunter Simon Wiesenthal never gave up the search. He spent decades tracking leads, gathering testimonies, and pressuring governments to act. West Germany issued arrest warrants. Israel offered rewards. The United States eventually launched its own investigation in the 1970s. But every time they got close, Mengele had already moved on. He had contacts who warned him. He changed locations. He grew a beard. He was paranoid, yes, but he was also incredibly careful. There were moments where the net almost closed. In 1962, a Mossad agent reportedly tracked him to Brazil, but was pulled away before the mission could be completed. Historians still debate how many times he may have slipped through the cracks due to poor international cooperation. But for 30 years, 30 incredible years, Josef Mengele remained a free man. On February 7, 1979, Josef Mengele went swimming at a beach near the town of Bertioga in Brazil. He suffered a stroke while in the water, and he drowned. He was 67 years old. He had lived for over 3 decades after the Holocaust ended. He had never faced a single day in court, never been charged, never been convicted. He was buried under the false name Wolfgang Gerhard in a small cemetery near São Paulo. For 6 more years, the world still didn't know. It wasn't until 1985 that Brazilian, West German, and American investigators, working together, exhumed a body from that cemetery. Forensic experts examined the skeleton, and in 1992, DNA testing from Mengele's son, Rolf, confirmed it beyond any doubt. Josef Mengele, the angel of death, had died without ever being brought to justice. For the victims and their families, the news was devastating. Eva Kor, who had survived his experiments as a child, said she had hoped to one day face him in a courtroom. That chance was gone forever. Simon Wiesenthal, who had dedicated his life to hunting Mengele, said he felt robbed of the opportunity to see justice served. The story of Josef Mengele is not just a story about one evil man. It is a story about systems that allow evil to thrive, about governments that looked away, about the fragile line between civilization and barbarity. It is a reminder that justice, real justice, is never guaranteed, that power without accountability is the most dangerous thing in the world, and that the victims of history deserve more than a grave and a footnote. The twins who survived Mengele's experiments, people like Eva and Miriam Kor, spent their lives speaking about what happened, not to spread hate, but to make sure the world never, ever forgets. As Eva Kor once said, "I refuse to be a victim, and I refuse to give anyone the power to keep me in chains from the past." Josef Mengele escaped human justice, but history has never let him escape its judgment. He is remembered not as the scientist he believed himself to be, but as a symbol of humanity's darkest potential, a warning written in blood. If this story moved you, please share it, because remembering is how we make sure it never happens again.